Hey YouTube, welcome back. So in today's video, we're gonna dive into TradingView, which is a trader's best friend. So I'm gonna show you some really cool tips and tricks and some of the tools that I personally use in my trading. So let's dive in now. So in front of you, you're seeing TradingView, and TradingView is an awesome tool. This is one of a trader's best friends. So a lot of people get confused in the beginning because we have different platforms that we use. So typically what most people are doing is marking up their charts on TradingView and then using MT4 just for executing their trades. Now, some people, again, at the end of the day, this is gonna be a personal preference thing, but some people like to mark up their charts on MT4. I think personally that TradingView is much better for that just because of the amount of tools available and just how much you can customize every aspect of TradingView. So that's what I personally do. I find my setups, I mark up my charts, I calculate my risk to reward, all of that stuff on TradingView, and then I plug in the information for my position, my stop loss, and my target, and my entry on MT4. That's the only thing I'm using MT4 for, is to execute my positions, manage my positions, and of course my exits. So I'm gonna show you some of the tools that I use and just kind of give you a foundation of TradingView and just how to set things up, some of the tools and tips and tricks that I personally use on a daily basis. So the first thing I would say is customize TradingView how you like it, right? So candles, backgrounds, you can change all of this to your liking simply by clicking anywhere in the back of these charts and coming down to settings. When you're in settings, you want to come down to appearance. It should automatically be selected. And from here, you can do quite a few things to change the appearance of the text, the background, the candles, anything that you want to change, the crosshairs. So we can see the background. You can have a gradient, you can have a solid background, and you just click on this square here and select your color. And as you can see there, purple, green, whatever you want to choose. I like mine either white or black. Now, then you have the vertical and horizontal lines. I personally don't use them, so I slide this here all the way to the left, and because it's automatically gonna be there, so I basically just take the color all the way down so you can't see it for the vertical and horizontal grid lines. Now, the other things that you can add is a watermark. This is something that a lot of people like to do. I use this primarily in trainings when I'm talking about specific pairs, so somebody knows the pair and the time frame I'm looking at. So when you click on watermark, you can see that it added the pair. So you can see US 30 and the time frame that I'm currently on right here. So I'm on the daily time frame. So that is a really cool feature that some people like to have. And then of course you can change other options here, the crosshair. So you can have a solid line that looks like this. And of course you can change the color. I like mine on the dotted line. So you can still see it, but it's not overpowering. And then there's other options here that you can go through and just, this is really customizing the background and the crosshairs, the text, the grids, and now the candles will be found here under symbols. So you can change the body, the border, and the wick. I like to keep my stuff super simple. So I just have blue bullish candles and black bearish candles. So you can see that's primarily with the body. The borders and the wicks I just have on black, and then the only thing I changed is the body. For bullish, I select blue, and the body for bearish, I just select black. And then the cool thing with this too is once you have something set up, you can come up here to where it has this little cloud, and this will automatically save, but you can also, you can create templates. That way you can, for example, if I click on, this is an unnamed template, and I click on that, you can see it changes to a previous saved template that I have here. So that's just an easy way of changing back and forth between different things that you have set up. So here's one with all of my stuff on here. So I'll just take all this off so it's not distracting. So that is how you customize the appearance of your charts, your background, the text, the grids, the lines, and the candles. So now let's talk about some of the other customization that you have with TradingView. So you can really customize just about everything. So I always like to customize my tools as well. So we can take any of these tools. Let's take the Fibonacci tool. I'm gonna draw it on here. So you can see this is custom. I'm gonna make another one, and I'm going to open up the settings by double clicking on the tool. So you can see templates down here. I'm gonna apply default. So that's what it will look like out of box. Now that can make a little bit of clutter on your charts, and I like simplicity when I am trading. So you can see the comparison between the two. So I have just straight full black lines except for key level. So I have the 50% in orange, I have the 886 in red, and then I have my fib extension levels in blue. Then I have no background here. So I will share my settings for this. So you can see, you can add different levels, you can remove different levels. So if I click this, it will remove that level. So if I add that back, you can see it just put it here. Same with the 50%, you can watch it disappear, now it's back. So you can add and remove different levels, and then all you do is just click on that specific level and you can change the color. And then same thing, it's all pretty straightforward. The lines, you can make them dotted, dashed, a full line. Here's how to change the background. So you can see there's the background. I like it off. And you can also take off those trend lines. There's a lot of different things, but what I really like doing is making templates. So once I customize a tool, whether it's a fib tool or a rectangle or even just a horizontal ray, I like to set up templates. So if I were to right click on this out of box setting Fibonacci tool and I right click, you can see templates. So once you figure out how you like your tools, you can come right click, go to templates and do save as and give it a name. And that way, when you want to switch between different views, or if you use a tool like a horizontal line and you have multiple uses for it, maybe an entry, one's for a target, one's to identify previous day high, whatever it might be, you can have all of these templates locked and loaded, and you can click between all of them without having to go to the settings and configure them every single time you want to switch. So you can see I'm going to change this out of box setting here by going to my swing. And you can see right there, boom, it's automatically saved here. Same thing with when I'm looking for a candle and I want to look for the 50% of that candle, I have a template saved for it, 50%. And there it will change the fib to this. Now I'm gonna go back, put it to swing. Same thing with my vertical lines. So if I click on the vertical line, you can see I have a number of templates. So my entry rate, that's just a black line, boom. If I go back and I click template and I go to target, this will show a green line with a dollar sign. So you can see right there, boom, and then a text. So just about every single tool you can add text to just by clicking on it, coming to text, and you can also label what these are. So this can be labeled target, money sign, save it, come here, right click, template, save as, and you can save it as whatever you'd like. So let's say this was a target that was captured. I have a darker green line with an X, as you see right there. So let's say it's a selling entry. I have a template for it. Boom. So that way it's easy for me to distinguish different things that I've marked up on a chart just by color coding and labeling. So the same thing with my boxes here. So I right click it, and let's say this is imbalance. I have an imbalance setting. Boom. It's a gray box that says IPA in the middle. Let's say this is a kill zone. I come to template and kill zone. So I basically configure how I like these different tools to look, and I just give it a name and I label it and I color code it, and then I save a template for it. And that way I can easily navigate through all these tools. So those are the primary tools that I'm using. And when you get to a point where you're comfortable with all your tools, which are listed over here on the left-hand side, there's a lot of stuff to TradingView, but again, I keep things extremely simple. So I primarily use the boxes. I use this line here. I use the long and short. There's the long and there's the short. Those are my risk to reward tools that help me figure out the risk to reward for every position by figuring out how big I want my stop, how big I want my target, and then it gives me the pips in both and my risk to reward. I use lines. You can see I have my fibs in here, right? All of the tools that I commonly use, right? So here are my horizontal rays. Everything that I use is right in this toolbox, and that's pretty much it. There's not many other tools that I really need. This gives me everything to mark up my charts effectively. And to make them all easily accessible, all I do is come to the tool that you commonly use. Let's use the text. So any of these tools, right? Let's say you use the text box a lot. You can see when you hover over any of these tools, you're gonna have a little star right here. And if you click that, you can see how it adds it right here. So there's the T for the text. Let's say we want to have a call out. Boom, adds it right there. That way, when I want to use a quick little call out, kill zone, I can have that right there, and I don't have to go looking for it. So it just gives me, it will just create this little floating toolbox that you can put just about anywhere on your charts with all of the tools that you commonly use. So really, that is the big gist of TradingView right there. So we have our customization for the appearance, for the background, the candles, all of the pricing, the grids, the crosshairs, and then the tools. And we can save templates for all of these. So we can save our layouts by coming up here. And then I like to have auto save here. And that way too, and when you're marking up charts, you can auto save it. And then when you have, or if you have TradingView mobile app and you load up the pair that you've just marked up. So if I were to open up gold, it's going to look like this. It's going to show me anything that I put on my chart on my mobile phone. The other thing I customize on TradingView, which is something that a trader is probably using quite frequently, are the time frames. So all the time frames you can see, they are listed here. And if you go to this drop down box right here, you can see that I have also starred all of the time frames that I use the most. So just by clicking the 1 minute, you can see it adds and removes it from this bar. Again, I like efficiency and just keeping things super simple. So we can add other custom time frames. If you wanted to come down here, you select what you want: minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, whatever range. You add that in here. You type in, let's say hours. We want to add a 6-hour time frame, and then you click add, and we'll put it in this list as well. So that's the other thing that I really customize. And then as well, I also have a couple different indicators all based on time. So I have my sessions, which indicate London session, New York session, an Asian session, and then the overlap. I have this right here, the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. This is just a tool that will draw these yellow horizontal lines that break up the week. So all of this price action here was 1 week. Same thing with here, all between these two yellow lines, that's another week. The other one I use is the imbalance finder. So this will locate imbalance on your chart. So if I zoom in here, I click imbalance. So you can see it is automatically locating all of the imbalance in yellow. So I like that tool. Again, it just is something that I'm commonly looking for, and that tool does it for me. So any type of indicator that you want to add, you can customize those as well. Indicator tab up here. and you can just click on this and you can search just about any indicator. So if you want to add any of the ones that I use, you can search here. So sessions, and any one that I use here, it's typically just the top one. So sessions, this is the first one here, usually the one with the most amount of likes. And again, you can favorite them, right? You can favorite that as well, and it'll also make it easy to access. And then when you save your template or your layout, it will always include anything that you have on the chart, including those indicators that you have up here. And you can just also type or click on the eye on and off, and then you can hide them by doing this. That little arrow up and down also hides it. So that's really how I set up my charts. That's how this is how I am always looking at it. Those are the primary tools that I'm using right here. Very simple, not many. These two right here, the long and short, are one of the same. I use my boxes, my rectangle boxes. I don't use the arrows too much unless I'm doing a training. And then I have my trend lines, and primarily it's these three tools right here. The Fibonacci tool, my risk to reward tool, and my horizontal raise. That's primarily it. And then my indicators, primarily just time related. So my sessions and the time for the weeks beginning and ending. And that's just how I like it. Really simple. And there's a lot here, and that's why I do keep it simple, just to not clutter things, not to complicate things, just keep things very easy to read and simple. And that's one of my biggest methodologies when it comes to trading, is the KISS method. Keep it stupid simple. So hope you got value from this little overview on TradingView and learned a couple things about how I like to mark up my charts, how I set up my charts, and just keep things really efficient. And we can dive into another training in this in the future, because there's a lot of other cool things that we can do with TradingView, like alerts and other systems that are available to you in TradingView. So hope you got value, and I will see you in the next one.